Hola, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ira Mañez Basic, La Princesa, the village princess. And today I definitely feel more royal because I spent some time on the phone with my grandmother and she was telling me stories about the past, about our family and about her relationship with my grandfather. Ooh, dramalicious. But that's a story for another day. Today, the story, the story today is about this couple that I've been spending time with during this Corona time, and I realized that their dynamic is quite interesting, or I would say different from my dynamic with my husband, and they're different from the way what I'm used to see with other couples. If that makes sense. Yeah. It does make sense. I know that you get it. So the whole thing started when I asked the wife, how did you meet and how long you've been together? After I observed their dynamic, I kept, for days I've been wanting to ask this. But at some point when we were having dinner and we were having few. Yes, of course, we were having few drinks. It was easier to ask then. And the wife, it was like she couldn't wait for someone to ask her that question because she started having verbal diarrhea because she was just talking more than I expected her to tell me because we are not that close. And she just told me lots of things. And those are the things I'm going to be sharing with you, my cyber family. But before I start sharing, I must remind you with my stories, I like to embark into character, whereby I tell the story the way, or as the person who told me the story. And now I'm gonna become the wife. I'll tell the story as the wife, as she told me. And before that, we're gonna have to give her a name. You know, we like to spice things up. We call her Daquinia. You know, Daquinia comes from Adakweni, Daquilicious, Dakwa Dakwa, Shidakwa, but we call her Daquinia, and then you will understand why I'm calling her Daquinia. It has to do with alcohol. So, we met at the wedding of a friend of mine where I was a maid of honor. It was such a beautiful wedding. It was so colorful. It was a Saturday afternoon in the garden. They had all kind of colors, all kind of flowers. They even added more colors, more flowers to what was there already. And the theme of the wedding was color is life. Everybody was dressed so colorful. If there was something that was not missing that day, it was color. They had a live band, and this band was very popular for playing at weddings and special events. They were covering all the popular songs at the time. It felt like we were in a concert whereby there like different artists playing on the same stage. This is how nice it was. Oh my God, when I think about it. So, at some point, and then I spent lots of time on the dance floor that day. This is how nice the music was. I didn't want to miss any of the songs. Like every time you try to go to the table, it was mostly from the bar to the dance floor. The table, it was just once in a while, and I was there with my parents because our families, they were really close. They were friends, and me and the girl, we grew up together. At some point, I noticed there was this guy who was sitting on my seat on my parents' table. And I started becoming curious because every time I looked, my mother was having this laugh and she was having the best time of her life. And my poor father, who was not a party person, was just sitting there watching people dance, just observing. And my mother having her best life, her best time. So, after a few songs, I decided to go and sit down. When I was walking towards the table, my mother's pointing at me, and I overhear her telling the guy, "That's my beautiful daughter I told you about." I hear the guy say, "She is the beautiful woman I told you about." Can you believe it, guys? So, there I am standing in front of my mother and this strange guy, and I'm blushing already even before I meet him. He stands up, introduces himself, and my mother goes, "This is my new friend, and this is my beautiful daughter. This is your future wife." After after that introduction, she grabs my father's hand and she takes him to the dance floor. My father had no time to say, no, I don't want to dance, because the woman was in the mission of matchmaking. I sat there with the guy, we started chatting, but before that, I must share. I checked him out. Tall, skinny, handsome, my type 100%. That's why I made time to sit there. My mother was right. I didn't know that she knew my type, even though we didn't talk much about boys and stuff. But she knew my type because that guy was my type from the minute I saw him. We chat. We went to the dance floor. We were dancing together. We were drinking. We had our first kiss the same day. We started dating. After the wedding, we dated maybe for 3 or 4 weeks. He was working for the army. He was deployed to another country for a year. He was away. Our relationship was based in phone calls and letters. Cartas. I'll have to find out how to pronounce that word in proper English. Letters. No, it sounds like I'm talking about salad letters. I don't know. But anyway, we are writing to each other and we are having phone calls. But a year went by so quick. He came back. We got married immediately. But the thing is, while he was away, I got a job with this tourist company where we were working with people, receiving people from different countries. And they organized a course for me for 6 months. I had to travel to Russia because we had lots of Russian clients. I had to travel to Russia to go and study. And that's why before that happened, we decided to get married quick. We went to court and we signed. And I traveled to Russia. And when I got there, I was very lonely, very cold, very away from my comfort. I couldn't understand the language, but luckily there was other people from different countries who spoke English that they were there for the same reason, that school. I made friends very quickly. My husband, he would come once in a while, but not for long because his job was very demanding. After some time, being cold and everything, I made friends and we started going out for dinners, lunches and drinks. I was shocked how the people there were drinking vodka like water. It was crazy. But they say, when you go to Rome, do as the Romans do. If you can't beat them, join them. I decided to try me some vodka just to feel what the others are feeling. Oh my God, I don't know if it was the best thing or the worst thing for myself, but I started enjoying that vodka. It was getting to the right spots in my body. I started enjoying vodka so much that now I started going to the bottle store, buying myself vodka and keeping it in my room. I had bottles, hiding bottles, and it started helping me with my mood and I was not shy anymore because I would wake up in the morning, do my tea, add some vodka. Whatever I would be drinking, I would add vodka. You can imagine what happened. Of course, I became a kind of an alcoholic because I couldn't function without vodka. For the 6 months that I was there, every time before my husband came, I would take out all the empty bottles, I would hide. I would leave him there and I'll go and have a drink and come back, chew a gum or do something. He never noticed the whole time that I was there that I was drinking that much. He would have a glass of wine or something when we would go for dinner together, but I would never drink as much vodka in front of him, and he did not know. Fast forward, 6 months went by so quick. I got back home. I immediately got pregnant. I gave birth to our first son. A year and a half later, I was pregnant again. I gave birth to our second son. But what I want to say is that during the time I was pregnant, miraculously, I stopped drinking. Oh my God, I forgot to tell you, when I was in Russia, on top of drinking vodka, I started smoking cigarettes and I started using drugs. The people that they were around me, they were all doing, and they were my friends, and I just got influenced And it was so cold that for that time that was perfect what we were doing. But when I got pregnant, I stopped everything for maybe 3.5 years. No alcohol, no cigarettes, no nothing. But but at some point, I quit my job because I became a full-time housewife. I was looking after the kids and everything. But because I was not the type of person who can just stay home doing nothing, because I started working very early, I decided to get another job, and I was getting really bored because my husband was never at home. I started drinking again. Guess what was my drink of choice? Vodka. I was drinking, I started secretly smoking. My husband started realizing that there was something not right, but he didn't know because he couldn't figure out, because he had no proof. And I was hiding bottles all over the house. We started fighting for everything and for nothing. Everything was just a reason to fight. I started neglecting the children, neglecting my household, neglecting my work. I met a guy who, at the bar that I used to go when my husband was at work, I started dating this guy. One day, I got home after a big fight with my husband, which I caused, packed my bags, left, moved in with this guy. That was one of the biggest mistakes in my life, because me and the guy, we were just using drugs, drinking like crazy. We became full-blown alcoholics. We both quit our jobs. We couldn't pay rent anymore. We lost the flat where we were staying. And we end up in the streets. We are homeless, living on a tent. After some time of being like this, with me and the guy, we started arguing and fighting a lot. We separated there. I was in the streets with other people, and I was ashamed of going back to my husband and my family. I just decided to stay there. My husband knew where I was. He started bringing the children there to come and see me. But actually, I didn't want him to do that. But it was just a way of him to make me feel like I have a motivation to get better. I had to get better for my children. He never gave up on me. My parents, they would come and tell me that come home and blah, blah, blah. But one day, they decided to do an intervention. They organized a rehab center. They organized people. They came and grabbed me by force, took me to rehab. I got to rehab. I stayed there for a year. When I got there, of course, I was miserable. I was not cooperating with all the things that I had to do. At some point, I really decided that I need to stop. I need to change. I need to become better. I started following all the rules and everything that they were teaching me at the rehab center. I became better. After a year when I left, I was completely a new person. I was not the same person that walked into those doors. I went back home. Can you believe that my husband took me back? I got back me, my husband, and my children. A beautiful, happy family after all the drama. After I left him with the children, he did not give up on me. He took me back, and life continued. Of course, it was not the same. He was treating me more like a patient than like a wife. But it was better than being on the streets. Fast forward, our days, our children are grown ups. The first one is nearly 40, because we know each other, me and my husband, more than nearly 40 years. And my second son is middle 30s. And we are together for many years. I did not touch alcohol or cigarettes or anything. I started traveling, going to India, doing yoga, doing all I became a Buddhist, living a healthy life, and I really managed for many years not to touch alcohol. But now, after our sons got out of the house and everybody is doing their thing, I'm home alone. My husband is retired and is just out with his friends playing games and doing this. And my husband has been drinking all these years, but he can control his alcohol more than I can control my alcohol. Now we are here. And I just felt, okay, it's Corona time, I'm bored, let me start having one drink here and there for dinner or for lunch, but nothing more than that. But you know what? They say, once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. You just have to know how to balance the way you drink, how to manage the alcoholism, because there's different levels of alcoholism. And I am the type of, if you give me the chance, I'll go back to full drinking. There, when we drink now, when we are sitting at the table, my husband tends to, if I have to grab a glass, I'll have a sip or two, and then my husband just keeps putting my glass away. He became more of my, how do I call it, my caregiver than a husband. Oh, but I really, I love this man so much, because even though I left him with the children, he still took me back. And even today, I started drinking again. Of course, I'm drinking very controlled, because he is taking care of my drinking. He pours my drinks and he makes sure that I don't overdo it. It's really amazing. Here we are, after all these years that I left him, because I was away from him for 5 years, doing drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, and with another man. He has me here. I'm here. I'm with him, and we are happy the way. I mean, our own way. We are happy our own way. I'm so happy and feel blessed to have made back to my family. Our sons are all grown. They have their own lives. They are both married, and none of them is alcoholic. Alcoholic, as I was. They all drink, but moderately. No one does the way I did, or the way I tend to do. Okay, thank you for listening to my story. I hope I inspire someone out there that if you find yourself drinking and you start enjoying alcohol too much, you must be careful that you can become an alcoholic. If this happened to me, who comes from a very good family, I had a very good education, I had a job, I had a beautiful life. I just traveled to a country and I just thought that I could handle. I started drinking uncontrollably. I became a full-blown alcoholic. I lost everything, and thanks to the fact that I have people that love me in this life, I got myself back together. Please look after yourselves, drink, but do not overdo it. Don't do anything that you cannot. If you feel that you cannot control, just ask for help. There's anonymous alcoholics. There is all these groups that help people with substance abuse. Join those people. Don't be shy. Don't be ashamed. You're not the only one. There's so many people out here that they're going through the same thing, and it can happen to anyone, no matter if you're rich, you're poor, no matter who you are, your status, career-wise, it can happen to anyone. If you see that you cannot control your alcohol consumption, ask for help and get yourself help. And thank you again. My name is Iramanyi Spisik. One more time, I'm the village princess, and I told the story. This story belonged to Daquinia, and now I am happy that you listen to this story, and I hope I inspire somebody out there. Big kiss, lots of love from me, the village princess, and goodbye. Goodbye.